Every single time you stream a movie or you order a car or even just check your bank account, you're tapping into this huge invisible world of digital infrastructure. But here's the thing, that world, with its tangled web of clouds and microservices and all these moving parts, it is reaching a breaking point. The complexity is just becoming too much for any human team to handle by themselves.
So, how in the world are we going to solve this? Well, in this explainer, we're going to see exactly how artificial intelligence is stepping in to save the day. We'll kick things off with the complexity crisis to really understand the problem. Then, we'll dive into how AI is becoming a code co-pilot for building new systems. After that, we get into the really futuristic stuff, the self-healing data center. And finally, we'll compare the world before versus after AI and take a peek at the road ahead.
All right, first up, let's really get to the heart of the problem. For decades, we've managed IT systems manually, but those old ways, they're just not working anymore. In fact, they're failing, and failing badly in today's incredibly fast-paced environments. So what's really driving this complexity bomb? Well, just think about it for a second. We've gone from having maybe a single server humming away in a closet to these massive, sprawling, multi-cloud ecosystems. We're running our apps now in thousands of tiny, self-contained packages called containers that can literally pop into existence and disappear in seconds. The sheer scale and the speed of all this change has just completely outrun our human ability to keep up. And the stakes when things go wrong? They are absolutely astronomical. When these complex systems fail, the cost is just staggering. Research from Patel and his colleagues found that the average cost of IT downtime isn't per day or even per hour. It's over $8,000 per minute. Just let that sink in. A single bad hour could easily cost a company $500,000. So you can see why the traditional ways of doing things have become a losing battle. The first approach is what we call reactive maintenance, which basically means you wait for something to catch on fire and then you scramble to put it out. And that, of course, leads directly to that crazy expensive downtime and lost revenue. The other way is scheduled maintenance. Now that sounds better, right? But it often means you're wasting time and money fixing things that aren't even broken, leading to a huge amount of over-maintenance. Okay, so this is where AI enters the picture. And the first part of the solution is all about tackling the problem right at the source, the creation of the infrastructure itself. We're talking about generative AI as a code co-pilot. So the foundation of pretty much any modern cloud operation is something called infrastructure as code, or IAC. The best way to think of it is like a recipe for a data center. Instead of manually clicking buttons in a web browser to build servers, engineers write a blueprint in code using tools like Terraform. Now, this is great because it makes building systems repeatable and automated, but writing that complex blueprint is still a huge bottleneck. But now, watch how generative AI completely changes the game. An engineer can just write a simple, plain English sentence asking for a virtual server, some storage, and a firewall. And then, bam! The AI translates that request directly into the complex, ready-to-use code needed to build it. It's like having a senior engineer on call 24/7, ready to instantly write the exact code you need. And it goes way, way beyond just generating the initial code. These AI copilots can automatically check your code for security flaws. They can suggest ways to make it cheaper or more efficient. They can even translate your entire setup between different cloud providers, like from AWS to Azure. Heck, it can even explain what a confusing block of old code does, which, let me tell you, is a massive time saver for any team. And listen, this isn't just some theory. It's happening right now. A recent study from Tira team put the latest AI models to the test, and the results are just stunning. Top models from Anthropic and Google were able to generate a perfectly working, complex infrastructure setup in a single attempt. Think about that for a second. What used to take a human engineer hours of painful trial and error can now be done in seconds. This is a real-world tool for development teams today. So that's building the infrastructure. Now let's move to the second, and you could argue even more powerful part of the solution. It's not enough to just build this stuff with AI. We also need to run it intelligently. Welcome to the world of the self-healing data center, all powered by AI Ops. So what is AI Ops? Well, it stands for AI for IT operations. And the whole idea is to use machine learning to sift through the absolute mountains of data our systems produce. It's about shifting from that reactive, what just broke, mindset to a predictive, what is about to break one. This is the intelligent engine that makes sure everything keeps running smoothly.
So how does it actually work? Well, think of it like a super smart detective for your data center. First, it observes. It's constantly watching this fire hose of data coming from every single server and application. Then it engages. It uses AI to find that one crucial clue, that needle in the haystack that signals a problem is brewing. And finally, it acts. It automatically triggers a fix, like restarting a service, often before a human even knows there was a problem to begin with.
And the impact on reliability? It's nothing short of revolutionary. Organizations that bring in AI ops don't just see little improvements here and there. They see dramatic change. We are talking about 2/3 fewer breakdowns, fixing problems nearly twice as fast, and a massive 60% increase in the average time between failures. This isn't just an upgrade, it is a complete transformation of system stability. Okay, so when we combine that AI copilot for building things with a self-healing system for running things, what does daily life for an IT team actually look like? Well, let me tell you, the difference between the old way and the new way is truly night and day. Just look at this great divide here. In the old world, a team's entire life was reactive, getting paged at 3 a.m. because something already broke. Now, they get predictive warnings before the failure even happens. Troubleshooting goes from this manual, agonizing hunt through endless logs to getting an automated suggestion of the root cause. The entire job literally changes from being a digital firefighter to being a system architect, focused on prevention and making things better. And this transformation isn't just about making engineers' lives easier. The financial payoff for the business is massive. We're seeing up to a 25% reduction in maintenance costs and a 33% cut in what they have to spend on spare parts. Overall, companies see an average return on their investment of more than 8 to 1. I mean, those are the kinds of numbers that get any CFO to pay attention. Of course, this shift isn't just magic. It doesn't happen overnight. Adopting AI in your operations comes with its own set of really important challenges and things you have to be smart about. We have to be really careful here. AI can hallucinate. It can generate code that looks perfectly plausible but is just flat out wrong. It can also introduce security holes if you're not governing it properly. And maybe most critically, these models don't automatically know the unique context of your company's systems. And all of this underscores the most important point. This is not about firing all the humans. You still absolutely need expert oversight, code reviews, and quality control. And that really brings us to the core message of all of this. The goal here is augmentation, not replacement. AI is here to act as an incredibly powerful assistant, freeing up our human engineers from all that tedious, repetitive work so they can focus on what they do best, designing better systems, innovating, and solving the next big problem. So this leaves us with one final, pretty thought-provoking question. We've seen how AI can write our code and manage our systems. So as this technology keeps evolving from being a simple co-pilot into a truly autonomous agent, is it actually possible that your next coworker won't be a person at all?